Hello, Good Shepherd family. Rather than coming into your homes this year by means of a Christmas letter, in which I describe where I am when writing the letter and the ambiance that surrounds me, I decided instead to invite you into our home so you can see all of this for yourself. This is the chair that I have literally sat in when writing each of the last 8 years of Christmas letters. It's a lounge chair, it's very comfortable. Sometimes I'd wake up hours later and finish it after taking a nap. Usually have a cup of hot chocolate sitting next to me. Didn't have time to make that this evening. We just came home from Pathways Christmas program, just a beautiful program. And I gotta tell you, years ago when our school was 3 to 4 times the size that it is right now, we didn't have nearly as many family members attending events such as we had tonight. It was beautiful to see, and it has something to say about our motto to be intentionally small, intentionally personal, and intentionally Christian for our families. Maybe you can see why I love the fireplace. It's kind of a focal point of our home. We like to make it look rather nice year round. Usually we have a cross up here on the mantle, but during the Christmas season we take this metal artwork that Doug Green created, inspired by Follow the Star, and we place that up here to remind us of the reason for the season. And over here is our famous tree. Simple. It's all green lights and only gold bulbs. My dad liked things simple. We grew up with this kind of tree. It's a Scotch pine tree. It's not a live tree. Not like we used to get. My brother and my dad and I would always go out to the mountains of Colorado or to the tree farms in Minnesota to cut down our own Scotch pine. But it's still the same kind of tree, my dad's favorite. And of course, it's the kind of tree I grew up with. It's a tradition of mine and now ours. What we wanted to do for you on this video is kind of take a journey with you. Some of the memories and events that we've experienced this last year at Good Shepherd. One of the biggest events in the life of our church a little over a year ago was the raising of the 30-foot cross out on the highway on 1431. It's become a beacon of hope for this community, by the way. It's kind of interesting because we find that Bible study groups and prayer groups meet out there in the mornings. They're from our community, not from our church. And when our Follow the Star leaders met with the Cedar Park police and some of the city leaders in Cedar Park, they were telling us how many times the police get called to the cross because of somebody who's desperate, somebody who's hopeless, somebody who's suicidal. In fact, the code for them to go right to those people in need is simply at the cross. They said, this cross is a beacon of hope for our community. And soon we will be completing the cross by placing plaques around the base that tell the story, the meaning of the cross, why we have the S shape of the corpus of Jesus Christ. And then we'll be adding memorial plaques that we can place there on behalf of our loved ones. And Mark Anseer struck again by providing us a stunningly beautiful memorial bell. Its inaugural ringing by Gary Matson just 2 weeks ago, and now scheduled to be rung 5 minutes before each worship service as a call to worship with us to our community. And soon, we're going to have an outdoor narthex, a place to gather before worship, after worship, not during worship, though maybe if we grow that much, but for special events as well, just like the Advent worship we had just last evening. It was absolutely beautiful outside. We also have great hope in improving our live streaming quality and capabilities in the near future. We already have a pretty steady viewership of 80 people who from their homes tune in to worship with us. We are their church. And with the right equipment, upgrades, we'll soon be able to reach them in a much more personal way so that they can call Good Shepherd their church home. God is leading people to this church. In fact, we are one of the very few, especially in the Lutheran circle of churches, that is a congregation that's growing younger. Our demographic age matches the age of our community now. It's pretty amazing. So many babies, so many young people, so many young families. But you know what? A lot of you stepped up and said, the young people are important to us, and you proved it by stepping out and doing ministry for them and with them. Thank you for that. It's things like that that make this church not just a good church, but a great church for us and for this community. God has blessed us this past year in many ways with many memories. But most importantly, he's blessed us with you. I love you. We love you very, very much. And we thank God that he has brought us together. And together we are called to connect people to Jesus Christ. That is our job. From a little baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger to a man dressed in rags and dying on a cross, Jesus gave his all for us. And now he's calling us to live our lives for him, to live a life that begs the question. So that when that question is asked, why do we have the hope we have? We point to Jesus. He's the reason for the season. And for that we say thank you, Jesus, for making us a part of your family. And thank you, Good Shepherd, for making us a part of this family. We love you. Merry Christmas.